Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. This is Muthu from EMI.
Good morning.
Or good evening to you, Thomas. Or afternoon.
Thanks. Depends on what sort of a day you're into. I mean, ONIS is starting up now as well, so that's got to be the second day. So it's a good morning for that one.
Yeah. So I don't know, as Jonas is not joining, who will join and lead this. Anyone have any idea who will be running the agenda and leading the meeting?
Nope. No idea.
John, do you know if someone more from Intel side is joining, or?
No, probably not.
Rafal just joined. He's from Intel.
Hello all, good morning. This is Jose from EMI.
Hey, good morning.
Dawid! Chodź szybko!
I agree.
I think HP attendance will be very less today. And I'm not sure about Intel as well, because that is this once event, the open networking thing. Who is going to drive today's meeting? Any specific agendas that we want to discuss?
Morning. Hear me?
No, we asked that the same question, so I haven't heard anyone having any idea who will be the driver.
Okay.
So maybe
Okay,
we just
Daniel.
do a quick round table or something like that and see where we are and if someone has some agenda items.
I think so. That will be better. Yeah. Okay.
Hello guys, this is Rafał Steiner from Intel. I joined late, sorry about that, but I think we may have a limited quorum from HP today because they have some conflicting event.
Yes, Rafael. Yes. Yeah. So we just spoke about that, and I think what we agreed is to, if there is no specific agenda that we want to go after, we can just go on a round robin and iron out anything that we need to discuss and call it off a day. Yeah?
Sure.
Perfect. John.
So the only update I have is on community outreach. So the Alex and HPE made the presentation to the Breakfast Forum on Thursday last, and that took probably about 40 minutes to go over.
Yes, John. How did they receive? How did DMTF receive? Because last time when we had DMTF here, it was a little bit.
So small clarification before John answer. So Joe, we didn't have DMTF Redfish here because there was presentation before the Redfish forum within DMTF. The webinar that was one of the TSC formation, the audience was there was DMTF chair, of course, but yes, this was not purely Redfish forum.
forum representative. Thank you, Rafael.
So this was the one Thursday was a standard breakfast forum meeting where HP and Intel, who are members of DMTF, were invited to present on ODIM. And so as far as feedback, because of the quote IP rules, there were a lot of clarifying questions, but that was the extent of it, was to get understanding of what ODIM was.
Okay. Wonderful. So I guess it's a good news, right? In terms of no harsh feedbacks, or they see a synergy.
No, there was some clarification, because there's been a lot of talk about what ODIM was and was not. So it was good to have a standard presentation, which we went through.
Okay. Yeah, we can again bring this topic again next week once when Alex and maybe Jonas is here as well, right? If they have any feedbacks noted down, questions noted down, they can share that as well.
Right.
Great.
So the next presentation is actually tomorrow at the OCP Telco project.
Correct. OCP Telco project. So I have to get hold of Alex, because I think Alex and Jonas asked if anybody can jump in, and I said I can also play a role.
Right. I'll send mail to them and confirm the time slot. So.
Oh, okay. So this is tomorrow at 1 o'clock? Eastern time?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay. And I think you said we have like 15 to 30 minutes?
It was set for 15 minutes. And that's part of my checking the agenda, is to see how much time allocation we were given.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So I will reach out to Alex today and try to sync up on that, on how we will do that.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a bridge? Can you forward the bridge details of the specific call?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I may go as the next one. This is a
Yes,
Forsteina from Intel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I work with the engineering team to start contributing to the ODIM. We are doing some work on the first BMC simulator, and it was already said in the past. And then we do some work on the plugin for unmanaged racks. I'm closing some internal Intel processes, how we can contribute in a really open source spirit. I think we get a good handle, and we will soon be delivering the code to the feature branch on the public repository.
Mm-hmm.
One of the questions to the TSC, and we may have limited quorum today, so maybe this has to be pushed for next week, would be, where do we store BMC simulator? Is it the same repository as ODIM, or this is the different repo within the same project space? Because we need to know this information accordingly.
Yes, good question, Rafa. Yeah. I think we should, bring in the other also, right? The LNF host and
True.
others as well. So we will have, from AMI, just as do you have anything else to update, Rafael, or?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, good. Yeah. So from AMI, this is Jose. We are also having similar question, because we are working on contributing the composability services, and our plan is to add the proposal into this task list, maybe either next week or the following week. And right now the team has started working. So when we initially started this discussion, I think John and everybody were in that discussion as well. So we had a Lua-based implementation, and it was advised that we port it to a more popular or used script language. So we are porting it to Python, and once we have that, our goal is to contribute. And so far, we are targeting probably on a 2 months timeline from now. So Rafael, we'll also have the same question, right? Now, where to host it? Is it going to be on the same repo, or will it be another repo, as part of this? So that's something that we'll have to find out. So maybe next week we can end it out. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the issues I put on the GitHub is that when the initial code drop from HP was delivered, donated to this project, is that the ODIM repo is hosting the resource aggregator code without any abstraction, without any subfolder. So it's probably hard to organize it now without either reorganizing existing repo or creating the another repos, right? It's either works fine, but we need to make some decisions.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think we should bring this up next week as part of the agenda, and then we can find it out.
Yeah, I'll put it on the agenda topics on the wiki.
Yes, Thomas, you had something?
Yeah. It was more of a curious question. I mean, you're saying you're contributing some of the composition code, and I mean, I know because I and John are part of the composition in Redfish, which is sort of restarted with more constraint-based composition and multiple clients and so on and so forth. Would that be the interface you're aiming for? And if not, what can a composition service do towards the already released existing interfaces? That seems to me rather minimal.
Yes, Thomas.
So,
yeah.
Right. So we're going to get to some DMTF proprietary confidential issues here. So what has been released is constraint composition. I believe that's probably what AMI is implementing. Okay, there's additional work being done in the composition task force to extend beyond that. And so I think we believe what we need for ODIM is being done within, at least standard-wise, it's being designed or created within the task force. And so I guess the only planning we have is that once you have this composition service that you release onto the base, that it will have to be further extended in order to handle the composition extensions that are being dealt with in the task force. What we could do is attempt to get a work in progress release out of Redfish. Sorry, fairly quickly, so that you can at least see what the direction that we're trying to go in.
Yes, John.
I think John just answered to Thomas. It's no, AMI couldn't intercept this, work in progress, right? Because it's not released.
Well, yeah, they can't even see it, right? So at least with a work in progress release, they can see it, even though it's not finalized.
But John, you're very right that this would be the target API, because this is actually extension for the fabrics, and this is
exactly why we can't talk about it, right? Even that much information. I mean, it's bizarre if we can't release this work in progress.
So to answer from AMI's perspective, right? So right now where we are and what we want to do, our ultimate goal is to comply with the Redfish spec, right, in terms of composability. So whatever comes out, we want to periodically update the implementation to the latest spec that is getting ratified by DMTF. That's the goal. But what we are starting with right now, is we already had an implementation which we have used as part of this ODIM efforts, which had in its prior life, which is RSD, Intel spec, which was again based on Redfish 1.5, built on that with some customizations with extensions. So that's the core we are starting with, which we already have. And this is mainly to have something out that is usable and consumable to start with. And the next step, once we have this out, our next step will be to comply with the latest spec that DMTF is going to put forth. Now, if in this forum, right, we can brainstorm, we can debate about it, and if the benefit is better, or if it is optimal to even start with complying with the latest spec, then that is something that we have to discuss, and if that makes sense, then we will have to realign our path, right? But our current path right now is to have what we have already, port it to Python and open source it so that the community will have a chance to consume, use, comment on that, and then start migrating that to the latest Redfish spec.
So I can't get onto the DMTF site or find this out myself. Is AMI a member of the DMTF and the Redfish Forum?
Yes, John. Yes.
Oh, then are you attending the composability task force?
To be frank, yes.
Oh, well, in that case, we don't have to release it as what we already know. So you can begin the implementation, and we don't have to release it as WIP. Okay.
Yeah.
But we have to release it as WIP before you contribute it into this repository. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So Thomas, did that answer your question, or did you have any specifics? You need more specifics?
It answered what the state is. I was, how should I put this politically correct so I don't sort of step out of line then?
Yeah, we won't get offended. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's not for getting offended. It's more like, I mean, you all know that I'm not part of ODIM, and that's because our company has not yet decided to jump on the bandwagon. And one of the reasons for that is we don't know if ODIM is going to succeed. So now I'm just being very, very frank. And I think one of the reasons why we don't know that is that there is not a tight enough collaboration in between Redfish and ODIM.
Good comment, Thomas. I think that's one of the goals, right? I think they started with pitching it to DMTF and last week, and so far, I think, even before or, after that, our intent, this ODIM's intent is to align with the Redfish spec, right? That seems to be the case. So that should probably alleviate your concerns in terms of how well we align with DMTF and what else we can add and things like that. Was there any other specific concern for Ericsson?
No, I mean we're not sort of sitting waiting for the code, and as soon as it's being released, we're going to definitely jump on it and definitely use it. It's more like if the forum is, sorry, if ODIM as such is going to succeed, then I believe that there needs to be this tight collaboration, and probably that whenever there comes out a new Redfish release, the ODIM is already having compliant code to it, releasing it. That would be a big boost for ODIM as a community, if that was to be. And then you can start believing in that it's a very good, tight relationship in between those two different forums. If we see signs of divergence there in between, then I think it has very slim chances of succeeding. But that's just me speaking out very frankly as an individual now. So,
thank you, Thomas. I think that input is very, very important, right? I think you have a point. We should again note this down and bring this up again in when we have a bigger quorum, right? All the parties.
I don't think we need to. Well, we could, but I
don't think we need either.
Right.
I mean, we've been saying this to the guys that are not here either. So I mean, they know.
So since I'm the chair of the composability task force, yes. I can help with better alignment, right? And so just presenting something to Redfish Forum is kind of the first touch, and I'd much rather that MI take a look at the extensions which have been posed, right, and estimate when you might have that incremental changes made, because it's not that big of a change to the model, right? And then guide the composable task force on what you would want in a WIP, so we can release it, right, at the same time that you contribute to code. Then we can get what Tomas wants, which is to align both a Redfish Forum release with a piece of code which goes into the repository.
Yes, yeah, very, very, very valid. Yeah. Right. When I mentioned we should bring in others as well, because in composability, I 100% agree with you, right? I have access, AMI has access. We can assess the efforts and plan and do that. But if you see ODIM, it's also all the northbound is redfish, right? That's what we are aligning towards. So apart from composability, there is also other redfish interface that they will have to. So when Thomas commented that it will be good, or the chances of ODIM succeeding is much better if we have a code contributed in parallel when the split gets released. I think I see that from the entire redfish point of view, right? Not just composability, because composability is one part of it, right?
Yep.
The other server management profiles and everything, the schemas, the entire, the big set that we are thinking of. So that's why I thought, maybe, because if HPE is, investing on the resource aggregator side, which is northbound, redfish company, then they will have to assess this need and see what's feasible, what's not feasible. They may have to play a more active role, right? And wherever it is.
Yes, but if there are two types of interfaces, right, within redfish: those that have already been released, right, and those that are to be released.
Correct.
And discussions of quote alignment is best done with the ones that are to be released.
Correct.
Because right, all the ones that are released, everyone's done it. We know that it can work, right?
Yeah.
But to be part of the to be released set of interfaces is where you'll find alignment, because alignment has to be in the future, not in the past.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. That's why
I fully agree with that, and I would. I mean, since I'm signing on to a number of different task force in there, I can vouch for that there is much going on in multiple different forums that I probably can't mention here in the forum, but there are definitely more places than composability where ODIM ought to be represented with people that can contribute code into and make sure that they seem to work well to get a better alignment. And probably in a DMTF setting, if we're one of those type of meetings with people that are only members there, I can point those out as well.
Right, so we can create something, not a formal ODIM task force, but something, right, aligned, which says, these are the standards that we would want released as WIP in order so ODIM can align to them publicly.
Yeah. I think that would be a good thing. If I mean, I as an individual definitely would like ODIM to succeed. But you know how it is with big companies, that they don't necessarily want to bet on something that they don't feel have a very good chance of succeeding. So that's why our company is sitting on the fence, yes, so far.
Right.
I'm
so
trying to buy these type of discussions, basically saying this might help our companies to be more persuaded to come up.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I think we have 5 members here of the TSC, which are part of the Redfish Forum, including Red Hat. Well, I don't know if they're considering. So with that, you can go into Redfish Forum and say, hey, these are things we considered important, right, in order to align with this ODIM thing that we heard about last week.
Yeah.
Right. We'd like to release a WIP because guess what? We like code to be out there, right? And given how Redfish Forum understands uptake that they got from having OpenBMC out there, right? Having ODIM out there would just help at the level above the BMC.
Yep.
Very nice. Very good inputs, Thomas. Thank you, and John. Thank you. Anybody else have any other topics? Any updates that you want to make? What you guys are doing? Taito Every, do you have any inputs on what you guys are looking for? What you in ODIM, what you're working on? Marcin, Daniel.
So maybe one question is, so we are just getting started, right? We participated in the 2 trainings with our engineers, and we have some engineers starting with some first activities next Monday. So do you know if there is any more training activities planned, or the new components that you guys are contributing, if you should plan training sessions for those as well, or?
Yes, Daniel. So our plan is to plan that session, have that session once we have the contribution done.
Yeah, same goes on Intel side. Once we have our components ready to be contributed, or when we start the contributing to the feature branch, we will definitely organize some training session.
Yes.
Yeah, and then also if there is any new issues coming up next couple of weeks, and so we are going to start quite limited, and we are going to look at the test framework, the southbound interface, and also play around a bit with the kind of minimal deployment that we have discussed here a bit. So just kind of sneak starting a bit, and then kind of getting into the real stuff.
Mhm. Okay. Good. Thank you. Great. I think we have heard from everybody. Jim, do you have any comments, any inputs? Jim, Louis?
I just want to drop in and kind of see how the conversation was going. So I just lurking at the moment.
Thank you, Jim. All right. Louis, he is from, sorry, I didn't know which company you are from.
Lewis is from Linux Foundation.
Oh, Linux Foundation. Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you. All right. If we don't have any other topics, then we can adjourn for this week. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day, evening. John, please invite.
By the way, in the chat, I've sent the link to the telco project in the calendar in the bottom. I have not I've not confirmed the agenda yet. So as soon as I confirm the agenda, I will send mail on that.
So anyone can join?
Oh yeah, it's an open compute meeting, which means anyone who wants to join can join.
Open, okay.
It's it's also recorded, so just know all OCP meetings are recorded.
By the way, I created minutes for today and for the next weeks and added the agenda item. If you have any corrections, additions, please feel free to, for let's say, add it.
Thank you, Rafa. I think that will be useful. Yeah. All right. So I see the page, John, and is that a calendar? Yeah, that is. Yeah. 1 p.m. Okay. Yes, John, I see that invite. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sure.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Yep.
Have 30 minutes back.
Bye, everyone. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.